No, I got to lean in.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another lean for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm here with Jamie and Antonio, and you probably, I don't know if you look at Antonio's career, you wouldn't really be sure, but we trying to be as tacky as them heifers was on this episode. Okay, so the person that dressed me, I'm just gonna say it was Chad. He dressed me. He doesn't like me, so he clearly addressed me as such. You, Jamie.
I got this out of Sammy's closet.
Oh, okay. And Antonio, we're gonna say Antonio is Grecian, aka Angie, because she picked the wrong outfit. But yeah, welcome to another lean here. We're here to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, episode 3. A very chaotic episode. This episode gave me season 1 almost. And kind of season 2, where it was still kind of like just chaotic, but not so dark, and very housewife-ish. So with that being said, make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Jamie, how you doing today?
I cannot breathe in this damn turtleneck. My God. How do people wear these things?
I don't know. Antonio.
But I'm doing great.
Antonio, can you breathe too?
I can breathe. My nose is open. My throat is clear. But no, I'm doing well, Cortez. How about you?
I'm doing good. It's what's today? Today Wednesday, midweek. Love it. Almost the weekend. We're getting ready for Scorpio season. I know Libra season's coming first. You're a Libra. Your birthday coming up, but the big bang is Scorpio season.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. But yeah, so as I said, and he said, why? Shay said, why Jamie look like from 1982? Hey,
That's very specific. That's a very specific time frame.
They were very tacky in the episode, so it was very hard to find something that was not cute in my closet, but I just threw some layers on, and somehow I got
it. It's very impossible for me to look tacky if anybody watches this show.
I don't.
I'm the girl. I'm the doll.
No.
No.
All right, so let's get into this episode. It was a lot to discuss. It was a really good episode. I really enjoyed it. If they keep this up, they're back to where they were in the when I first started watching this. So beginning this episode, well, picking up from last week, they were going to Palm Springs, staying at the Trixie Motel. And they, Angie she wasn't invited officially by the host, which is Meredith. Invited by Whitney. And on the way there, Whitney decides to get there early, fly by herself. The girls didn't know what was going on. They get to the motel, they check in, and there is Angie K. And she's like, hey, like the little meme from Miss Juicy and them, how y'all doing? She knew what she was doing right. She knew exactly what she was doing. And so in this whole moment, everyone's looking at Meredith. Meredith is kind of keeping it cool. She's like smiling, like, she's not really making a moment out of it. It's just like, what, this girl is here. And I think in this moment, being on a reality TV show, she knows what was being done. You know what I'm saying? It's like she knew. And I give her kudos to her for not like completely losing her shit. Because if it was me personally, I would have lost it. And Angie would have been asked to leave in that moment. But that's, Meredith, she is not engaged yet. So just keep that up. Chase says, who is Angie K? Exactly. If Mary don't know who Angie K is, I don't know who she is. That lady. That lady. We're going to call her that lady too. So, like I said, Mary doesn't know who Angie K is. She makes it a confession like, who is that? But later on, we'll get into that too. So as the girls go to their rooms, they go look at all the rooms, and Meredith is told that Whitney chose the best room. She doesn't lose it then either. She's like, okay, cool. I like this room with the, the nice tub, the pink tub, whatever. She keeps it cool. Lisa goes out and talks to Angie and Whitney, and Lisa is just like, there could have been a better surprise than to see that you were here, Angie. And Meredith walks by, and she just walks on by. She don't say nothing to the girls, especially Angie K. Angie K was waiting for her to say something, but she didn't say anything. And so, Angie is talking to Lisa and Whitney. She's just like, she's not really sure how they had this new beginnings party or whatever it was called on the first episode with the snowball fight. And she's not really sure what the issue is, but she says that Meredith is fake, right? Heather and Meredith are talking in their own little corner or in their room or wherever they are. And Meredith just doesn't know why she would think it would be okay to be invited. And she basically says that the issue that she has with Angie is because of the things that Angie has said in the past, and she just feels like she's not a good person. So I'll stop here and get you guys' thoughts on just Meredith's reaction, or really, she really didn't react at all. Lisa being so excited that Angie was there, and Angie not really sure of the issue, while Meredith is very clear what the issue is. I'll start with you, Antonio.
First, I think that the first 3 episodes have been really good so far. So I'm glad about that, because I was kind of nervous about Salt Lake City coming into this season. But I definitely I do commend Meredith for being able to hold it together and not cuss Whitney out, as well as not ask Angie K to leave. But I agree with you, Cortez. I think that she peeped game from the very minute they walked out waving, and she kind of knew what was going on. So she decided that she wasn't going to give them a moment at that particular time. So I definitely get it. When Meredith walked out, though, and those 3 stopped talking, it kind of reminded me of that scene from Friday where it was like, well, when he come up, I stop talking, but when he leave, I be talking again. Because that's kind of what they did. It's like everybody shut the up when Meredith walked out the door. Meredith has a very masculine walk, by the way. But
she sauntered.
It was like very like
baby, it was like Leatherface they came by. It was like
she looks like a character from Grand Theft Auto, just like
I do not. I maybe this may change by the end of the season, but I do not like Angie K. But I started not liking her last season. I just think that she is something like very thirsty and gutter butt about her. I don't really like the way her voice sounds. She, to me, seems like she has chewed tobacco or something like that in the past. I don't know why. That's just kind of what I get from it. And I don't like Angie K. So anytime, somebody's gonna go in on her, I hope they get her, because she seems like she has this complex, like she made the statement of, I'm here because I'm supposed to be here. No, you here because you was invited as an unofficial +1 by someone, and don't forget that.
Yeah.
Okay, by someone who almost wasn't invited herself, based on the last 2 episodes. So let's tread very lightly, Angie K. I think anybody who has followed our channel, who have followed as we recap this franchise, knows the depths of ups and downs that any panelist has had in relation to this show. And this is one of the anomalies where the cast came out the gate and just gave us this spectacular first season. And we were all so ready for season 2. And halfway through season 2, we were so ready for it to end. Season 3 was great. But again, it was fatigue. It was like, oh my God, there's just it's chaos every episode. And it's so much. The first 3 episodes have been very chaotic, but it does seem like production is taking control of the reins a little bit more and not letting it just devolve into every single lady doing whatever they want, as much as Lisa Barlow tries to work against that. Anytime the camera is not on Lisa Barlow, she makes sure to have some sort of crisis to make sure the camera is on Lisa Barlow. I think Monica being an addition was fantastic. And in this Angie K, there are certain things that I like about her. But she reminds me a lot of, I don't know, there's something about her that she just craves to be in the mix. And it's almost as if when you don't add her in the mix, she's going to exhaust every victimhood moment that she has for it. It's like, I don't understand why Meredith doesn't want me here. It's like, lady, you ran her through the mud last year. And if you know Meredith, she didn't even like Lisa for the season 2 and 3 for something Lisa said halfway through season 2. So you are very lucky that she hasn't shot you in the face for stepping onto her trip. I don't know what you thought was going to happen. You talked about that lady's marriage, her house, her sexual health, everything under the sun. And Whitney, back to being the pot stirrer, but I enjoy Whitney more in this role because she's quiet when she does it. I think Whitney has learned that people do not want to hear her voice as much. So she's doing some behind the scenes. Well, I mean, later on in the episode, not so much. I think this episode, just right off the bat, was just complete chaos in like the best possible housewife way. Angie K needs to reel it in a little bit, because I do agree with you, Antonio. There's something very just like pick me about her. I think the little bit of sympathy she got from the fans when Jen threw that drink on her last season, like that's the only thing she's hanging on with. And there's a reason why she was demoted to friend of instead of being a full-time housewife this season.
I'm gonna say this: Angie K is just a little too entitled for me. You would think that she acts as if she acts as if she's been around from the beginning, and she hasn't. And I think that's what bothers me, is because, like, you know, you were a friend of last year. You were clearly a tag along friend, and then now you're coming back. You know, you're a housewife, but you're acting like it's owed to you. So realistically, if these girls chose to ice you out, you would be iced out. It's just she knew who to cling on to. She clung on to Lisa and Whitney.
Yeah,
you know, to keep the balance. Because if it was up to the other girls, I don't think they would be featuring her like that.
Yeah. Heather sure as hell wouldn't.
Yeah, and that's the problem I have with her. Is like, I hate hearing her talk. She plays victim a lot. Like she to me, we say Meredith, you know, holds on to things, but Angie, and we said the same about Lisa, but Angie, this literally will not let something go, and she will continue to, like, yes, Lisa gonna talk about her ring because she's upset about it, but if you did something to Angie, it's gonna keep coming up over and over and over, and she's gonna address you many times until she gets some kind of. It's
reaction.
like
Aaron.
I know we skipping ahead along, but how when Meredith was like, I don't care about your feelings, like, she needs to realize that not everybody cares about her feelings. She wants to always express her feelings, and people don't care. We don't know you enough like that, lady. We don't know you like that. We don't.
And I think she kind of suffers from what we have critiqued Salt Lake about in season 2 and 3, where they're very, very aware of themselves and very aware of storylines, and each person is trying to push their own individual storyline.
Yeah.
And Angie reminds me a lot of Aaron from New York in that aspect, where it's just like, give me a bone and I am not going to let it go. Even when she's the one that created the bone in the first place, and you had no idea the bone was being created. So I still like her. I think that she can be the messiest, whiniest, entitled person in doses, and can still be enjoyable.
Okay. So then after that, they all by the pool, and it's you know, of course, Whitney and Angie were already in their bikinis by the pool, and Mary gets some snacks, and she's like coming towards the pool, and then Angie's like, come sit with us, girl, come sit with us. And she was just like, you know, I'm not coming over there. Don't talk. I don't like when you talk to me like that. Like, I'm not coming. And Angie's like, okay, well, it's just an invite, you know. So while she doesn't want to sit by them, I mean, next to them, she sits not too far from them, and she poses the question to Whitney, and why did she get there early? And says it is very childish that she, you know, would do that and have it bring her there. And Angie was like, well, it's not about being childish. And Mary's like, I'm not talking to you. Like, I'm not talking to you. And I was trying to see what Angie was going to say, but Angie just shut up. And I was just like, oh, yeah. You better be quiet, because Mary gonna sing God for you, girl. Not that she was scared of Mary. I was expecting her to say something, but she just basically sunned her, as in like, girl, I'm an OG. I don't know who you are still. I may not be a full-time housewife, but I'm not talking to you. And I was just like, damn, girl. They gave the snowflake to her, this woman that shut up. That's crazy. I'm just saying, I wouldn't. But after she sets up, Meredith comes out. She gives t-shirts to everybody except Angie. I mean, obviously, I initially invited, so why would there be a t-shirt? I didn't see anything wrong with that. And so she talks about the activity. So the activity is what inspired our little tacky ass looks tonight. Basically, they're going to, the person that they had the most issue with, that they're trying to, you know, reconcile a relationship with, they're going to shop together, and they have to choose the other person's outfit or for dinner that night. And so she pairs, obviously, she pairs Whitney and Heather. She pairs herself with Lisa, and she does Monica and Mary. Not that there is any issue there, but they're both, I guess they're just neutral, right? You know, Mary doesn't know Monica and vice versa. Monica's new, and Angie's just gonna be by herself. So when she makes a comment and says like, you can kind of shop by yourself or do whatever, and Angie makes a comment. And she basically is just like, she says something. I can't think of what she said, but Monica says, "Ooh, you sassy to the host," and Angie does not like that. So this is where things get interesting because Angie feels like Monica is, I guess, going against her as her friend that brought her around. She feels like she should, I guess, be loyal to her. That's kind of what I got from her. Yeah. Loyal in the sense of not saying anything, even though I don't think she said anything wrong, but this conversation continues over with Angie, Lisa, and Whitney, and Angie is just mad. She's just mad, like mad as hell. Says Monica has a big mouth. I don't know why she would be speaking out and talking against her. But Monica walks up in her little whatever that thing was she had on, and was
so wrong.
And she basically tells her like, listen, in other words, I brought you around. You are my friend. Like, you just really shouldn't be speaking against me and saying anything, whatever, right? To be honest, I feel like she was accusing Monica of what she does, to be honest. Literally what she did last year as Jen's friend.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. She's expecting that from her. She doesn't want Monica to have her own brain, as I would say, as Nene would say too. But Monica flat out tells her, she says, well, I'm going to be the friend and tell you if you're wrong. Like, you're rude to the host. And I think you should take it out on Meredith, not me. And it kind of ends there. I was like, okay, Monica. And so I wanted to ask you guys, while you guys comment on this whole scene, do y'all think that it's Monica that she has her own brain and mind, or is it that she may be trying to be a pick-me for the other girls? What did y'all think of all of that?
For me, I think Monica has her own mind from what I can see, because I guess to me, looking at it, she would probably be better off or have more people on her side if she were to go with Whitney, Lisa, and Angie. So I guess if she was trying to have or build up these allies, she would have went with them. But I think that she is just now kind of coming in, and I'm sure she's watched the show before or been around Jen, so she kind of is familiar with the women. But I think that she is really just kind of peeping game on how things are going. And I like that she is really inserting herself, but it's not like overbearing. Like, even with the to me, like you are you being sassy with the host. That's some stuff that Jamie would do, like instigate something to get something started. So I kind of felt like Monica was already kind of working. I like to see that from her. I like Monica.
Okay. Jamie?
Well, Antonio is right. That is something I absolutely would do. But also, I think that Monica's playing the game and she's working as a housewife, but not so overbearing where she looks desperate to be a housewife. Versus Angie K, who got promoted from friend of and is now a full-time housewife and is actively like jumping right in. Is like, why don't you like me? Why do we have a problem? Why blah blah? And it's like, girl, the fans ain't there with you yet. Let's read the room a little bit. Let's figure out where we stand. And I think Monica, one of the things that Salt Lake City has lacked since episode 1 is relatability of any of the women. Yeah. Except maybe Mary, just because she's so like disconnected, I feel, from like everybody else. And she's funny and she's sarcastic. I think if you had to pick somebody that was the most relatable, it would be her and possibly Heather. But Monica does. Heather. Yeah, Monica has come in and she's, everybody can relate to being like, girl, everybody's spending money and doing this and that. I'm over here and I'm not where I'm at. I'm trying to figure out who hasn't slept with their sister's husband's brother at some point or another? Just me?
I have not.
It's okay. That's another episode.
That's fair.
But I don't think that she was overstepping any boundaries either. Like, even if, we're all friends and sitting around and somebody's being rude and trying to start something in front of a group, I would expect anybody to jump up and be like, this doesn't seem like it should be something that should be brought in front of the entire group, particularly when you shouldn't even be here. So no, I don't think she's being a pick me on anything because so far she's called out a lot of people on their behaviors. She said Whitney was shady for inviting her. She said Lisa wouldn't stop whining about that damn ring. She's kind of told everybody everything.
Did y'all catch when she was announcing the pairs and the whole idea about shopping? And then Mary was like, maybe you should get Lisa a new ring.
That was funny. I said, come on, Mary, with the comedic.
Listen, Mary works best in this friend of. One, because she doesn't want to be there. So as a full-time housewife, baby, you are expecting me to be engaged in ways I don't want to be engaged in.
Yeah.
But can we
friend suits her.
Can we say that she's probably in this episode? I think she's probably engaged she engaged.
Probably it was great because she hates everybody.
And she hates everybody. We're gonna talk about it, but she was like, not even just her side comments. It's just the way that she was actually, because usually she would sit back and somebody would come for her or say something about her. In this moment, she was actively engaging with people, calling them out, getting people to speak out. It was giving mini producer. Like I was like, Mary,
she hasn't seen a lot of these women in a minute, so she has some things to say.
when she got off that bus and she went in that room and she pulled that wig off, she had time to think.
I was hollering.
How she was going.
People think it must have been hot as hell in Palm Springs.
Poor Mary.
Because she put it back on before she went out there. But Mary,
she did put it back. I was trying to see was it shifted a little bit. It was back on right. She just
good for her. And y'all know I was not my relationship with Mary has been up and down. She can be rude. She can be abrasive. She works amazing in this capacity because this is what she wants to be. And she can drag these hoes. And at the end of the day, she's like, cool, I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Like, I gotta go.
Yeah, Jamie, we all know who you like.
No, we're not doing that. Not this narrative. We're not doing that.
Yeah, go back and watch season 2, you guys. You'll see.
That lady.
The videos you can watch it.
Who's that lady?
All right. So after that, they go shopping. And like I said, it's Meredith and Lisa. And I think Angie was with them, right? Was she not with them?
No, I thought she went with, I don't know.
I thought she was with them.
I really don't care enough for her to follow her.
I don't know what happened, but the funniest, I guess, scene was actually Mary and Monica because Mary was like, I'm dressing me and her. And to be honest, what Mary picked out for Monica, I thought it was cute, but I think it could have been a little shorter and more fitted. But of course, under the circumstances, I actually thought that hers was the best.
I like that yellow trench coat too, though.
I did too, but
it's cute because it fits Mary.
Well, that's very Mary, a damn trench coat. But when
that's very Mary.
She liked the other side. Mary said no.
The two of them actually work really well together. They both just like anything that comes to their head, they're just saying it, spacey, and like I really enjoyed them together.
So, and I also don't think that Monica takes Mary too serious.
Because she's not coming after Monica.
Which was like, I can say that Mary's not as mean and rude as people say because she could have been very, who are you to Monica, and she wasn't. She seemed to kind of, they were shopping. They were doing the thing that she likes to do the most, So I think it worked for that whole thing. But let's talk about these looks real quick because I did. Now let's see who we got here.
Lisa Barlow.
Okay, so let's do a best and worst.
Oh my God!
Because okay, Antonio, best and worst, and I have the other two as well. But just of these five,
to me, I'm gonna say best. I think the worst was, let me say, Lisa Barlow. I think best was either, I would say Meredith, because that looks like something Meredith would wear in real life.
Yeah,
it's just the fact that Lisa looks like she's going to Coachella. It's just crazy to me.
Lisa
and what's
she got
her
those
name?
Little flat sandals on.
Lisa looks like Britney Spears circa 2009. Like, what is going on?
And Heather just looks like she's about to go to a Biggie concert.
She a stud. That's the stud of the group. That's the stud cousin. She looks like Queen Latifah Unity.
Then we had these two. Like I said, my favorite of all of them was definitely Monica's. I just wish it was. If it was really
a little fitted better,
it would have been cute. I like the whole thing actually, but yes.
This picture, I like both of these.
Not the church hat.
Like they kind of
not the church hat.
I thought the rules were you weren't supposed to like make people look like, you know, a clown
Ugly.
or a costume.
I just don't understand why everybody was picking up church hats, but the entire scene,
They did not get it.
Was Mary's face in this picture right here. Like me watching this entire segment because it was a fool, but it was a cute idea. I actually really liked that. And the fact that they had to like put it on and go straight to dinner, I thought that was a cute idea.
Lisa was spiraling.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Lisa was like, she got the stuff pulled from Milan or somewhere she wanted. So.
Baby,
she was sure to name drop it. I brought pieces from Milan. I brought pieces that my personal shopper brought. Like Lisa.
Correct. So,
take them back.
Said, they go, they get on the bus and they go to dinner. And on the way to dinner, you know, not only is Lisa complaining, first she's complaining about her ring. She mentions her ring again. And you know, that's one thing. But then once she finds out that they're going to a 5-star restaurant, she really freaks out because she's like, oh my God, what do I have on? Now she was okay with the outfit at first. She was like, okay, because to be honest, you think about it, we don't really see, that's probably the most naked we've seen Lisa. Remember, if you go back to the lingerie thing, she had on like silk pajamas. She don't really show a lot of skin. So I was very surprised to see that for her. But she's like spiraling about that. And they get to dinner, and she says when she get out the bus, she's gonna put the shirt around her waist because she just don't understand why. I'm surprised she didn't like freak out, cry, and go back home. I'm just surprised, but kudos to her for pushing through because you know Lisa can be a bit insufferable when it comes to stuff like that. They get to dinner, and you know Heather is hot. Obviously, she has on a leather jacket, whatever it is. Lisa is cold because she has on no clothes, so that they are fighting over the heat lamp, but they switch places with Monica. And they play a game, and the first game is fun facts about themselves. It's supposed to be like an icebreaker, right?
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, I was very Monica about this because Meredith came out the gate talking about she used to come to Palm Springs with her grandparents back in the day, and I said, okay. So Whitney says that basically she was a poet in the past.
I don't believe that for lying unprovoked. She can barely string together her words just in everyday conversation. You want me to think you can write a haiku?
Whitney ain't wrote nothing but a bad
Whitney
shit.
said she was Whitney Badu. She said she was Whitney Badu. That's what she said she was. She was back there writing.
Getting tired of your shit.
Basically, that's what she said. Heather said she had a bird. And I said,
Heather is a bird.
Okay, Monique. I thought it was Monique. I said, okay, Monique. And Angie says that she's sensitive, and Mary says that she's a loner, and they show all these clips of her being alone. And I was just like, y'all are pretty bored. But Monica, you know, she is stuck on this whole thing about her brother-in-law. So she comes out the gate and was like, I had sex with my brother-in-law for 18
months.
And let me tell you, the person that lived the most,
Mary.
Oh
my God.
Mary said,
Mary King.
I said, Mary, no.
Mary said, get your life, baby.
She said, I'm going to do you one better. I'm sleeping with my granddaddy.
And I married him.
I said, no.
It was that meme of Whitney Houston pointing like, it was, they see each other.
That took me out. I was just like, I was like, please, Mary.
I lived for Mary living for that comment. So when I said, okay, I live for Mary.
I've never seen Mary that excited about something on this show. She was
so
like,
much.
You too?
Mary said, not just me.
All right.
Not just me. Thank you,
that
Lord.
was hilarious, y'all. That was hilarious. Any thoughts on the game? Monica coming out with, you know, again about the brother-in-law sleeping with him for 18 months, and anything at the first part of dinner. Any thoughts, Jamie?
I really wish Lisa would have had a meltdown. Like I expected that. Because Lisa is at her best when she's just melting down. Like she is the Ramona of this series, and we want her to act completely insufferably to situations. So I'm a little disappointed at that. But one, whoever dressed her, like Meredith has not forgiven her. Meredith tried her. She tried her. And I do commend her for going, because had you had my pussy out at the dinner table, oh, I wouldn't have gone. Y'all are going to see me at the house. Talk to y'all later. So good for her. Monica proved again that she's integral to this relationship, because these ladies do not know how to follow rules to a game in any aspect. And so, yeah, that was good for her. Good for Lisa Barlow, more concerned about her Milan pieces than her $60,000 ring that she lost somewhere.
Jamie? Oh, Jamie. Antonio, sorry.
I thought the game was fun. I agree with what Jamie said. Monica, I think she's working so well for me right now, because there's still girls within the group that are within like her age range. So I think it's easier for her to kind of gel in with some of the ladies that are already there, because they all like hot messes. So I thought the game was fun. Granted, I don't need to hear about her sleeping with her brother-in-law for 18 months again. We good on that. It don't have to come up unless the brother-in-law or the sister or somebody gonna come on the show.
Whitney's gonna bring them on.
Good. Otherwise, wait a minute. Did I
low budget? Low budget.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My Wi-Fi was acting a little low budget.
Low budget.
That's okay.
Tacky. Oh.
Okay. Well, we'll move on, and Antonio will come back.
Cortez, really quick, do you think that Monica is working as well as she is and not really picking a side because Jen wore each one of the ladies low to her before she joined the cast?
You know what? My thing is that could be.
She didn't come in with any preconceived notions. She was like, none of y'all are great according to Jen. So
that could be true, but I mean, she came in as Angie's friend, who was also an accomplice with Jen at one point.
Not an accomplice. Yeah, but from that dinner, we already talked. I mean, she was very much like I talked on the phone with Angie for whatever. We don't really hang out. Don't know her that well.
Well, the way Angie made it seem, when people bring you around a group, they just feel like you're just like you own, like they own you. And I so I understand, what I'm saying, what Angie feels, because I mean, that could be true.
Yeah.
But in this moment, I don't think Monica was going against her. But at the same time, do you think that Monica could have tried to see somewhat of Angie's side, at least a little bit? Because it do seem like she kind of just went straight over to Meredith's side.
Well, yeah, if Angie had been invited and then Meredith was rude to her, then I would be like, yo, how are you going to invite somebody and then act like this? But baby, I actively have tried to avoid you. Yeah. And you showed up anyway. You knew what it was.
That's true.
So
that's true. Yeah, no,
I don't know what to say. And even then, Meredith wasn't overtly rude to her. Meredith was like, I don't want you here, so I'm not going to engage with you.
And she didn't even say that. I don't think she didn't make things uncomfortable for her.
She was just like, I'm not.
Went with the plan that she had for the people that were supposed to be there. And
even then she said, she was like, I wasn't expecting you to be here. I'm sorry you don't have a gift. Like, girl, it is what it is. Where do you want me to pull that from? Where do you want me to pull a gift from?
She didn't have to say that. It's understood, like, I'm sorry, you weren't supposed to be here. So, yeah. Okay. So, Antonio is still having issues. So, I'm going to take him on out the square until he get it together. I don't know what's going on, but that's okay. So, the part 2 of the dinner was another game. And it was like a positive and a negative, basically, about the person's side, right? And so Heather and Angie, they continue to go on and on about their past. Apparently, they've known each other forever. And it's crazy because we didn't really hear much about this last season, this relationship.
I don't remember.
I don't recall Heather really mentioning it, to be honest. It seemed like they both were fighting over who was the better or more loyal friend to Jen, to me. Not about the past and the history that they've had in their childhood or wherever they've been friends, high school, whenever it was, right? So, but Heather turns to Angie and says that she doesn't trust her. And before anything is even said, Lisa across the table is like, "Oh my God, what? Why don't you trust her?" She's like questioning her. And she says that basically there's Antonio. Antonio, you back? Okay, we're good. She basically says that she doesn't trust her because she was all over Jen and Lisa last year and before, and just doesn't trust her because she feels like the history they have, Angie would not talk to her, do her any kind of way based off of their past in high school, whenever it was, right? And so Lisa makes a comment, I ain't gonna lie, I thought the same thing. She was like, well, you were all over Jen, so should we not trust you? And I said,
Oh.
You know, the light bulb went up in my head. I'm like, you know, Heather, it's crazy that you saying, you know, all over somebody, because everybody knows, and I mean everybody you watching right now or on this panel that knows Heather knows that Heather was all over Jen for up until they put the handcuffs on her and
until the law separated them, forcibly separated them.
Right.
Yes.
So that's crazy. But nonetheless, that's what she says. So Meredith goes and because they kind of ended, because basically they keep asking Heather why. She's giving answers, and it's honestly it's not even Lisa's question or turn to go, so she really shouldn't be speaking anyway. But she was. Meredith turns to Whitney and says that she thinks that her communication could be better. And Meredith's like, that's not what you said earlier. You were very upset about her bringing this girl here, and very upset about all these things and blah blah blah. And then Meredith is like, she's like, well, I really don't want to do that here. And Mary's just like, okay, no,
do it here. We doing it the book here.
Right. But Meredith doesn't really go into it, right? So Monica goes and she's like, she loves Lisa. She thinks she's a good sport for wearing the outfit, but she says that her complaining is ridiculous, considering that she's a single mother going through a divorce with 4 kids, and she feels like her complaining about a ring is just, there's bigger issues to talk about. I mean, not to talk about. There's bigger things going on. There are people that actually may not be as blessed as her, have the same afford the same things, and she's complaining about small things like a ring. It's giving very much so, Kim, people are dying. That's what I got from that scene. And first Lisa was just like, okay, you know, but in her confessional, she was like, if when you can afford a 60K ring, then you'll complain about it too. She said, shut the F up. And I was like, ooh, okay, Lisa she's turning into that villain. Hopefully she owns it now, because I'm not saying she can say what she want to say, right? But we've never really seen nobody on this show kind of gloat about money and things they have. But I guess now that you have somebody that's kind of telling you and being very transparent about the things that they don't have, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Not that these girls are rich, but obviously they do well for themselves. And Lisa has always had a little money on her anyway, for the most part, right? But they go back and forth or whatever. And what are y'all thoughts on these interactions? It was Heather and Angie's, and then Meredith and what's her name? Whitney's, and Monica addressing Lisa. Antonio.
I think with well, first I apologize, y'all. I was dealing with some stuff, but
that's okay.
Heather and Angie, I felt like Heather had good grounds to say what she said. I just think that the examples that she used were not good examples, because I thought she was going to go with Angie saying that her and Jen, were sleeping together or lovers or whatever the case may be. That's where I thought she was going to go with this. So I was kind of shocked that she didn't. And it's crazy that she said that you were all over Jen and then you're all over Lisa, because Heather's done the same. Outside of Jen, we know that she's wanted to be Lisa's friend since season 1. So I thought that was Heather kind of dropped the ball on me for that, because she didn't go where she could have gone in order to like prove her point and drive it home. What's the other girl? Monica and Lisa. Monica, I think, now listen, I'm tired of hearing about the ring as well. We did hear it like 14, 50, 11 times during the episode, but I also get it. That's a lot of money for a ring. So I understand why it was probably fresh on her mind, but I also don't want, like, Monica, because as of right now, she's trying to get herself together so she doesn't have it like that. But don't put your plight on me. I lost a $60,000 ring, and it's kind of still fresh on my mind that I lost a $60,000 ring. Like, that is a lot. So, but because you can't really afford that now, you got on $100 ring. Like, don't put that on me as if I'm doing something wrong because I'm kind of upset about my ring.
Yeah.
Okay, so Heather and Angie kind of goes back to what we've been saying for the past 3 years. You can tell Heather was not extremely popular in high school. We had this same conversation in year 1 when Heather was mad that her and Lisa used to know each other, and Lisa was like, girl, I don't know that girl. I never met that girl. She a good time girl. Heather said the exact same thing with Angie K. We went to high school together, but we have our relationship. It's whatever. And Heather does not have the greatest track record with expressing herself, and so she tends to be vague and tends to be untransparent, and she muddies the waters of what really is bothering her. But when it's deep down, as much as I love her, she is an insecure woman. She became successful later in life, and she's holding on to a lot of baggage. Angie was the girl in high school. Lisa was the doll in high school. Heather was Heather, whatever her maiden name is. And she's carrying that over to adulthood, and I need her to take the shackles off her feet so she can dance with the rest of the ladies.
Okay.
Meredith and Whitney. Meredith hit the nail on the head. Like, I mean, we've said that. Whitney does everything but tell the truth and does everything but say how she truly feels. Like, that girl says everything that's unimportant to a conversation. So, Monica, I think both her and Lisa were right. If I was in a new group of women, I would probably feel away if, I'm trying to provide for my kids and somebody's, saying like, oh my God, 60,000, 60,000, 60,000. But at the same time, baby, that's 60,000. And if anything that Meredith was saying last season is true, Lisa don't have $60,000 allegedly to cover that ring. Her businesses ain't making any money. And she has IRS liens, and she needs to give fellatio for Knicks tickets or Utah Jazz. Like, she can't replace the ring. So I hope to God they insured it. She didn't seem to know if it was insured. But I get it. I lose something that's my personal property. But I side with Monica when it's like, you're telling the security guard, by the way, it's $60K. You get in the Sprinter van. I lost a $60,000 ring. You tell Trixie Mattel, who you've never met, Trixie, I lost a $60,000 ring. Like, girl, talk to the police, talk to security. That's the only person who needs to know about this. Like, it's fine. We're good. So I can kind of respect Monica for saying that. But also, if I was Lisa, I'd be like, girl, just because you can't afford a $60,000 ring doesn't mean I'm going to stop talking about losing mine. But good for Monica for being transparent and saying, like, girl, this is $100. Like,
well,
I'm good. But I'm sure if Monica would have lost that, she'd be telling everybody she lost it too.
I want to say that I think that it was the fact, like you just said, that she kept mentioning that it was $60K. I think she kept putting the value on it and mentioning the value is, I think that makes Monica's case more valid a little bit.
Yeah.
But I also don't want, I want her, she's on the platform. My thing is, people can say what they want to say, but when you're in the same space and the same platform and in the same position as somebody else, you should just look at that as like, you can say what you want to say, but I'm sitting next to you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want her to, I like Monica thus far, and she's cool, and she's relatable, but I'm not saying it because, I can't afford a $6K ring. I'm saying it because she's just in other ways. But I don't want her to be projecting her situation onto other people, because realistically, in that argument, like Lisa said, to be honest, it would have been very much so like, girl, that's your problem. Like, it ain't honestly, my thought process kind of was like Lisa, like, girl, it's not my fault that you can't afford $60K. Like she said, I'm blessed. I can do this. So it is what it is. But I think that's where Monica wins for me, in a sense, because Lisa kept mentioning the value of the ring. It became less about the ring, more about the value.
And then she retorted Monica by saying, it's not about the value. It has sentimental. It's like, well, you never mentioned sentimental. We don't know where this ring came from.
Said sentimental
you
one time.
She did say 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 60,000. Not my husband bought this for me on our second wedding anniversary. This is our first big purchase after I made, my money. Like, this holds value. She was like, oh my God, it's 60,000. I get it. Monica is the Gina of Salt Lake City, but at least Gina, whenever she steps in rooms with rich people, she lets y'all know she's broke, and she's very happy to be there.
Oh,
right. Well, I hope she listen. She needs to act.
Look,
like
I'm the Gina. Let's all be Gina's.
No, I don't want to be Gina. I'm okay.
No.
You dress like Gina.
I'm good. Shout out to Ivan. Well, Ivan said the ring was not 60K. I don't know. But
there are multiple people saying it ain't 60K.
A lot of people have been saying that, so allegedly it's not. I'm not sure, but Ivan says I found.
I mean, looking at it, I'm not a jeweler, but looking at it,
I'm not Jacob.
But looking at it, it looked like okay, that ring could possibly be 60,000. I guess. But I don't know. What are they basing that on? I want to put that in the chat.
Lisa's word.
But come in. He says, I found the Lean channel 2 months ago and listened to your past live recaps have kept me sane. I'm at work. Thank you, Ivan. You know,
put in the chat your favorite ones.
This keeps me sane too. You know, and be sure if you have other people that like to watch other reality TV shows or Housewives, bring them on over, child, because we are just like a shop, like 100 subscribers, so we reach 3,000. So help us get 3,000 very soon. So yeah, shout out to Ivan. And welcome to the channel too.
Welcome, Ivan.
Okay. So now things get very interesting because I thought it was gonna get better. You know, they decide. Monica says this is a shit game, and it's definitely a shit game. Because both of these games, to be honest, well, the first one was okay, but the second game was just drama. Let's just be clear.
Whitney want to be girls trip so bad. She want to be a girls trip.
She went on that trip and brought some stuff back.
She took notes.
Because I can tell this Whitney here has been with my girl Candace, and I don't know if it's working in her favor, in my opinion, but I don't like it. I like it, but I don't like it because it's like now she's in this whole producing phase. She's trying. You can tell it's. Let me do this. It's giving Minnie Giselle, but not Giselle at all.
I think for me, it's like I don't mind it, but I think Whitney is just so annoying. Like the sound of her voice and she's just annoying. It's not believable coming from her. It's like you're not believable as this producer or this villain or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Okay. So as I said, Angie decides to do a toast. She said she's gonna do a toast because that's what Grecians do. And Grecian. I'm so tired of hearing about damn Grecian. I'm just Grecian. But shout out to Greek though, because I went last year and it was a bomb. So she makes a toast, but she makes a toast. I don't know what the word was in Greek, but it was fake. And she was addressing it directly to Meredith. And I'm like, is this your toast? Okay. So Meredith was like, I'm not fake. You said that you publicly said that we would never be friends. And, you know, Angie's just like, when did I say that? Monica was like, well, we love a receipt. Give us a receipt.
Come on, Monica.
Like, oh. Sorry, these girls is over here drinking at Palm Springs. So Angie starts to go into how she feels, and Meredith tells her, I'm not interested in how you feel. She's shutting her down and tells her she can leave. She said, and Heather is tickled at all of this. She's like,
drunk.
Angie's like, I'm not going anywhere. And so Angie starts to speak to everything that she's done for her and things like that. And Meredith was like, well, you know what? I'll write you a check. And she was like, you know, what you gonna write a check for that jewelry that got cobwebs on it? I'm like, oh. Well, this is escalating really quickly. And so, but Monica is like trying to get Angie to stop. And Angie's like, listen, don't tell me how to respond. And she is just like not listening to her at all while still engaging with Meredith. And so Meredith gets up and she goes for security, but she grabs the waiter. And the waiter was like, ma'am,
this is a Denny's.
Work here. I'm sorry, I'm not security.
She please remove her. She wasn't invited. Please remove her. I'm like, girl.
But she goes back to the table and Meredith just starts to unravel. She starts to like just cry. And Mary's on the side like, don't let her do it. But she starts to cry. And she makes this little comment. She's like, you are really embarrassing yourself.
But I left at Heather the most. She's talking about she had a British accent.
That's what she said. She said, you're really embarrassing yourself. I said,
I was like, that cat has been kicking my sis butt, allegedly.
Baby,
Allegedly.
what was going on?
Oh my God, the altitude, something.
Ketamine had them girls rolling.
Ketamine.
Man, it was kicking my sis butt, man.
But so Meredith starts to talk about all the things in life that there are way more important things going on in life. The people, the poor kids, the little kids in Africa, that things that can be going on right now. But after that, Asia doesn't stop and Meredith storms off. Lisa goes after her and she's talking to her. And the whole time Lisa's talking to her, Meredith's face was not very sane. I don't know. I didn't know if she's going to come out of a bag on Lisa, but she was looking at her with a very weird, stern, evil face. I don't know, but it's crazy. But she did say, you want to talk about all the rumors.
Rumors. It was very Spanish. You want to talk about the rumors? I know about the husband.
Went from being British to being
hold on. There are children who be disabled. They'll never be able to walk. I'm like, where? How did we get here?
I just don't know what Meredith went from British accent to talk about the disabled, the kids in Africa, to the Hispanic accent, to talk about the rumors that she has on Angie K. And she basically tells Lisa, tell your friend to F off. Tell her to leave me alone because we can go there. Lisa in her confessional was like, she sides with Angie because this is the same behavior that she experienced with Meredith when she was at her. And I'm like, so she said,
but you started it.
Right. You started it. Like, okay. And just give me y'all thoughts on this whole chaotic thing. It was just a lot that happened.
Oh, it was amazing.
Jamie.
My God, it was amazing. It was housewife dinner done absolutely right. This dinner we'll do Beverly Hills Dinner from Hell. We'll do the Atlanta I'm that bitch from Shah, whatever her name was. This is why we watch it, because each one of the ladies is completely unhinged, and it's just a matter of what string you pull to have them unraveled. And I don't know what it was that set Meredith off, but it was you don't know what I'm dealing with, and there's something so insane that's going on, and I just can't tell you, but you're embarrassing yourself. And I'm like, what? This is, my God. And I love that whenever Meredith gets upset, she gets that like Popeye eye where she's like,
baby. What love it. Son say that doodoo nail.
It was great. It's so crazy that on like season 1, Meredith was the one that like didn't really want to get crazy like the other girls. We joked that she was like, she's unengaging. I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna, baby. Because when she engaged, the booster flit it breaks and she's engaged, full warp drive. I love this. This bitch is crazier than Jen Shah. I love it.
Hey, Antonio?
Yeah, I enjoyed this scene as well. We always say some of the best moments are when they're filming together as a group, and now they've added liquor. Then when was on espresso martinis, Mary was drinking espresso martinis like they was drinking. It just went to me. I get what Angie said was foul, but it was like Meredith kind of went so left to me so quick when she was talking about something about the kids and somebody being disabled. I like had to, and she was crying. I was like, what the? And then that kind of made me start to think, okay, there is something else, I guess, that's kind of brewing maybe that I'm hoping that this has something to do with that. Maybe we'll find out later on, maybe. But I thought the scene was great. Meredith, she definitely switched accents multiple times. It was so much going on this scene. Like I loved it. I'm with Jamie. Like it was such a beautiful chaos of just mess.
Yeah.
I want to see it. If it's this was just enough chaos and mess for me. It wasn't all over the place just yet. I would like to see this every week.
38 episodes of just dinners where Meredith loses her shit.
It's just the fact that when she went back to the table, she sat down and Angie started talking, and Meredith just started to just fall apart. like she just it was like what the hell is going on?
I was like, what is going on? Like what is she
it was great.
Yeah,
It
I'm
was
like,
great.
something
It
is
was like-
going on that we don't know. Because
Heather-
those tears were just like, my God.
Meredith having a meltdown. Heather barely able to keep her head up in her big ass Puff Daddy LL Cool J jacket.
But
like
you know what,
she,
Jamie? If Heather would have taken that jacket off, she probably wouldn't have got as drunk. But
she
I think
it wasn't
hot
drunk. It was
and
heat stroke.
Biggie,
It was heat stroke.
Biggie S, and I mean Biggie H over there, hot in that jacket.
She said,
She was Heather was over there like
walk
Gucci
around the
down
club.
that Gucci down to the socks.
rings and watch filled with rocks.
Right. Sierra content. Meredith definitely was a Russian spy.
Now she turned into Black Widow.
She definitely was a Russian spy with that.
Oh my God,
Let
it
me
was
find out
good.
Meredith is an assassin, like Saul.
Okay,
or something.
she talk about moose and squirrel will never talk to me this way. You're embarrassing yourself.
I got a clip.
Oh my!
I gotta use that. No,
Oh, it was great.
She won. All right, so they get on the bus, and Heather is drunk as a skunk. She makes a comment and says, "I hope I don't get a black eye this time."
Bitch.
I'm like, I hope you don't either, because you won't know where you got it from. Or you
She
will.
knows she's a fool for that. She knows what happened.
I had PTSD from that. I'm like, girl, shut up, okay? But they get on the bus, and Meredith is just still crying. Mary is holding her, and Whitney makes the comment, and she says that honestly, Meredith, I feel like you do this all the time. I feel like whenever you're confronted about something, you just kind of bring up that something's happening, and there's something more to deflect. And she says it's very convenient that something's always going on when she's confronted. So Meredith is just like, she doesn't really do anything, but who does is Mary on the bus. Mary's just like, she says that she don't think she should have said anything. And Whitney's just like, what do you mean? She's like, you shouldn't have said nothing. Like, what you should just been quiet. I'm not saying what you said was wrong. You shouldn't have said anything at all. And so she's like, grow up, own who you are. Who are you? She's like, I'm Whitney. She was like, whoever you are, stop, basically stop.
Stop it. Stop being that.
Stop being that person. And so then she goes into this whole thing about, you don't want to go there with me because last year, or the last time, whatever, you said that me and my husband did pornography. And I was like,
she was so mad. You said we were pornography. I was like, well,
Right,
one, that's not even a complete sentence. That's not a complete sentence.
When she said that, I literally looked at Google and I said,
now we know Whitney been saying some wild stuff, but I've never heard Whitney say, marry her husband or pornography. Like, I've never heard that out of Whitney's mouth.
Said pornography. And so, but then, then Whitney's like, what are you talking about? And then Mary's just like, Heather, what was that she said? And Heather said, predator. Heather said, who said predator? And goes back down to the drunk. I fell out. I was like, this is some crazy.
Oh my God.
Cool.
It's always a Sprinter van with these women, though. It is always a Sprinter van that all hell breaks loose. And it's just, oh my God.
The fact that Mary had been waiting all this time to get Whitney
2 years.
That just lets me know that, okay, I'm glad she's back. Heather sobered up really quickly. And after she clarified that it was predator, not pornography, Mary says, period, and I'm done with you. And she got off the bus. And I said, not period. Okay.
Mary said.
I love that though. Any thoughts, Antonio?
I thought that was great because we've seen Mary, and what Mary said was true. She was like, I don't really, she doesn't really go after anybody. She does kind of react in most instances. But she kind of, and Whitney knew what Mary was talking about, but Whitney was going to act. I was like, I never said you did porn. And Mary was like, no, you, and Heather, that was the funniest thing, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. I watched that scene probably like 5 times because I was like, she said pornography. That was the craziest thing. I was thinking like Nene said about Portia that time, like, where the hell that live at? But I'm glad anytime I
oh
think
my
Whitney
God.
deserves anytime somebody get at her or go at her, I think Whitney deserves it. And I was glad to see that it was Mary this time, because she did try to, say they were predators. And Mary was like, you tried to drag me and my husband through the dirt. And she really did. So I was glad that Mary had the opportunity to speak up at this time. And it was like she was really waiting on this moment to kind of get Whitney. And when Whitney tried to go after Meredith, and Mary was like, she in a fragile state, Mary was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get this broad.
So here we go. Here we go.
That's what she said, Jamie. That's what she said for real. Mary was like,
here it is.
Yeah,
here's my opening. I'm ready. This was a beautiful chaos, to steal Antonio's phrase. I don't know if anybody caught this, but I love that Monica was trying to comfort Meredith. And I think she said something to the effect of, because Meredith was still screaming like, there's something going on. You don't even know. It's so traumatic, but I just can't say it. And Monica's like, I'm sorry you're having to go through that, whatever it is. Like hugging her, cradling her. I'm like, she met you 2 days ago, Meredith. Like,
I do remember seeing that, I think
it was great. It's so much chaos going on. Heather's fighting for her damn life. Like, one, these women are used to drinking liquor in Salt Lake City where it's watered down and they don't serve you the way that they serve you. They go somewhere else and don't know how to act. Heather's ordering the same number of drinks. Espresso martinis, I've been that way on espresso martinis on a number of occasions. So good for Heather for having a good-ass time, but also being lucid enough to set the record straight on what was said. Because one, that tells me Heather has not forgiven Whitney either. She could not wait to say, like, predator.
Baby, it's just the fact. I honestly, when I watched it, I was thinking, like, she's not finna respond to her. Mary, I'm thinking, like, Mary finna be looking crazy, basically, because she would never get confirmation on what was said. But the way Heather popped up and said it, I was like, damn.
It's like, get her again, Heather. Get her again. Predator. It lit like you could not have produced a better scene.
I really want to know how long that Sprinter ride.
Where's the uncut version that Peacock shows? Show me the never before scenes.
I want to know how long, because Heather, it was like as the ride went on, it seemed like she got drunker and drunker.
Baby, that AC did my sister bad.
And you leave your element, you leave your car. And
that's when it hits.
And then when you in a Sprinter, when you in a van or a car,
you're in a van and get to drive, and that's true.
Yeah, I've been there many times.
My poor girl, they left her for dead in that van too. Everybody done just walked out, and she was left pissing and throwing up all over herself.
Whitney was beating on the door. Let me out.
It was the driver. The driver came around and was.
She got out of that car gagging and everything, baby. She was throwing up on the floor. I was like, oh my God.
Heather is too old for that. Like, I get it that we done had our
my God.
But that, I'm not gonna lie, that was just like disgusting.
It's the fact that she was still lucid enough to be self-aware and say, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I did this in front of everybody. Like, girl. And the messy cameraman showing the pee drip
was just coming down.
Was she peeing?
Yeah, you didn't see the pee coming down?
I thought
that was not vomit. Vomit is not that liquid. Baby, that was a waterfall.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, I feel so bad for Heather.
I feel bad for that driver. I think she had threw up.
Yeah.
Before they got off the van, when they were trying to open the door, but that was pissed when she was sitting there.
When Whitney started hitting that door and that driver ran around and said,
girl, she was
oh my God.
It was a perfect episode from beginning to end. I'm glad that Meredith did not pop off at the beginning, because it gave us, it was a good,
it crescendoed.
A crescendo. Exactly. It definitely went, it escalated when it needed to, and it gave us like the best episode in a very long time. So I'm definitely, I can't wait to see what happens next week. It seems like Whitney gonna try to get her lick back on Mary by saying that why is she around? She don't like to be around the group. And it looks like what else? Something else happened on that show. I think it was it Lisa? I forgot what else happened. It was something else that happened. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, next week should be good too. Hope it keeps momentum. And this is episode 3. I know somebody said that they're going. Then why they're not going out of the country? This is the first trip, so I think they are going out the country. That's usually the final cast trip. This, every Housewife franchise does like a more local or
usually
domestic trip typically, and then they go. And I think now that Jen is gone, they're going to be going.
They'll be, because this will be their first out of the country trip.
I think they're going to It was an island. It was an island.
Yeah, I think because they couldn't go out of the country before.
Yeah, it's an island. I think it was like the Bahamas or Jamaica. It was somewhere. Some
And now that Jen Shaw ain't there, no one's gonna wear braids.
Larsa.
It's Larsa.
You know what? That's so funny. That's the same act. Meredith was sounding like Julia.
Julia. It's Larsa.
The rumors.
All
right, y'all, listen, I put the
you called me pornography.
I put the link in the chat. Nobody wanted to call in today, so it's okay. We'll go ahead and leave now. This is a very fun episode. I appreciate you, Jamie and Antonio. We'll be here next week the same time. Also, of course, Real Housewives of New York has been moved to Mondays because Atlanta's over, so you can catch the remaining of the season on Mondays at 8:30 Eastern. Love and Hip Hop, which was usually in this spot, is going to, I think the finale is next week. It is next week. So beginning next week, we have the finale, then we have the 2-part reunion, I believe. We're going to be going live directly after the episodes here on Tuesday. So I think the episode comes on at 8 o'clock Eastern on Tuesday. So we'll go live at 9. And that's that panel with myself, Dream, and Love Jones. So make sure you check out our other shows. Lunch and Lean is tomorrow.
Catch out Lunch and Lean tomorrow.
Yeah, Lunch and Lean tomorrow. It's a lot. I just got the message about the topic, so it's going to be a very interesting one. Yeah, it's very interesting, very packed with stuff. So make sure y'all check that out. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time. Okay, y'all have a good night or whatever y'all doing tonight. Be safe. Peace.
You're embarrassing yourself.
Do some pornography.
Not pornography. I am weak.